Hey guys, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host Jenna, and this is our daily show giving you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus insight into what it all means. And joining me as always is AMC Editor-in-Chief John Campia.
I've just had to sit here for the last 5 minutes listening to these two talking about country music.
Yeehaw.
We love it.
I don't know. Kill me now.
And also joining us is the film critic at JoeBlow.com, Jimmy O.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Had to go there, man.
All right, let's get started. Last night, the international trailer for the upcoming Star Trek Into Darkness hit the web along with a brand new poster. While some of it was recycled material from the previous trailer, there was also a good chunk of footage we haven't seen yet. John, what do you think about the new trailer and the new poster?
Two very different opinions. First, the trailer. That's a trailer. That is a summer blockbuster trailer. That's how you do it. That was a fantastic trailer. It gave us loads of Benedict Cumberbatch. It gave us loads of the spectacle of the film, the big visual effects shot, which is part of what big summer blockbusters are all about. Apparently, RoboCop is now a part of Starfleet, which is kind of cool, I guess. I mean, really, this is a world-class trailer. I loved it. I think maybe the only other trailer I've liked better so far this year might be the Man of Steel trailer. Other than that, this is it. I mean, this is the standard for trailers this summer. I even think it's better than the Iron Man 3 trailer. And I love the Iron Man 3 trailer. I think it's a better trailer than Iron Man 3. The poster is a completely different story. That is an awful poster. I mean, there's no way. There's nothing about this poster that says Star Trek. And what's with the three of them with the guns and everything? It looks that movie could be called Detroit City Cop, and that's exactly what the poster looks like. Detroit City Cop or something generic like that. Like that first Star Trek Into Darkness poster was brilliant. It was conceptual. It was, it had imagery. Perfect. This poster, awful. But I'm willing to forget about it because the trailer is so damn good. Jimmy, your thoughts?
Poster's freaking awful. I mean, it looks like a really bad posting, and it looks like a really bad fan-made poster. Honestly.
Yeah, it looks fan-made, doesn't it?
Take out them with the guns, the Detroit City Cops or whatever. Just have Benedict. That would be awesome.
Or why are they holding guns like cops? I mean, come on.
Well, it looks cheap and it looks sloppy. And then there's the trailer. I will walk over your cold corpses. Heck yeah!
That was great.
Oh, that more Benedict, the better. He looks like just a bad beep son of a gun. I mean, I feel like I want to swear like every word now. I'm really holding back. He's just. I'm so stoked for him. I think he's going to be the villain of the year.
Yeah, looks great so far.
Yeah.
More bad news for the Natalie Portman Western Jane Got a Gun. Yesterday, we talked about how the film's director, Lynn Ramsey, had decided to drop out of the film by not showing up to the set on the first day of filming. Warrior director Gavin O'Connor was quickly brought in as her replacement to keep the project on schedule. However, another key departure just happened. Jude Law, who only recently joined the film to fill in the gap after Michael Fassbender left, is also dropping out of the film as well. Law was to play the film's antagonist, the outlaw husband of Natalie Portman's Jane, who squares off against his wife and her ex-lover Joel Edgerton. The site Deadline reports that his reason for leaving was because he had signed onto the film to work specifically with Lynn Ramsey. Jimmy, how messy can this get?
Pretty messy, apparently. Well, of course, it's a Western, so it might have some good country music, right?
I know.
Right? I can't wait. It's getting really nasty, but I have this weird feeling that clearly we're not getting the whole picture. Something happened. Something drove her off. I hope it wasn't just unless she went crazy. I don't know. But yeah, I could see him walking off, and I understand why he would if he signed up for that reason. Is it dead in the water? Depends, I guess, how much Natalie Portman cares about this project, really.
Yeah, this feels like a loose thread being pulled on a sleeve, and it's just unraveling.
Yeah.
Now, first, Fassbender walks, but that was understandable. I mean, the scheduling got messed up. He's got X-Men: Days of Future Past, which is his first priority.
He's a busy guy.
So you think, okay, well, that's too bad.
No.
They get in Jude Law. Great. So they move Joel Edgerton over to the role that Fassbender was going to play. They bring in Jude Law to play the role that Edgerton was going to play. Fantastic cast still. Then inexplicably, the director just doesn't show up. And we haven't heard from her yet. We just heard from the producer of the film saying she's insane. I mean, she just day of shooting, she just didn't show up. So we're still waiting to hear what really happened. We don't know the full story, obviously. So at this point, we're just speculating. But now, that's all unraveling. They rush out. They get a great director to fill in within 24 hours because he did such a great job on Warrior, which he directed with Joel Edgerton.
Yeah.
And then like 6 hours later, now Jude Law's out because he specifically wanted to work with her, the director, Ramsey. It's like, well, whose fault is it that she's gone? What does this mean for production? Do they have to postpone things now? I mean, this could, look, maybe this is the end of the drama. This could be the end of the drama. But I don't know. I got a feeling this could get extremely messy, extremely fast. And I got a feeling once, the original director speaks out about why she just suddenly decided not to show up, it could get even more dramatic.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Who knows?
And wait till the lawsuits start pouring in.
Yes, and I think they're coming. I think they're coming.
Oh, yeah.
Transformers 4 will be heading into production soon, and now the studio has given us our first glimpse of what the plot will be. According to the press release, as humanity picks up the pieces following the conclusion of Transformers Dark of the Moon, Autobots and Decepticons have all but vanished from the face of the planet. However, a group of powerful, ingenious businessmen and scientists attempt to learn from past Transformer incursions and push the boundaries of technology beyond what they can control, all while an ancient, powerful Transformer menace sets Earth in his crosshairs. The epic adventure and battle between good and evil, freedom and enslavement ensues. John, what do you think about the story for the next Transformers movie?
Well, on the one hand, didn't we hear this before? Okay, the Transformers, now things have quieted down, but now a new Transformer menace. Well, wasn't that the very issue with The Fallen? Like, wasn't that the exact same thing with The Fallen? Now, the one thing that kind of excites me about this is something I never thought they would do. Could he be talking about Unicron? Could Unicron actually be the main threat in the movie? I still doubt it. It's just, a planet-sized Transformer coming to eat the planet. That seems a little far to go. But who knows? It's possible. I am having a hard time getting excited for this Transformers movie. I absolutely loved the first one. I ate it up. I loved it. To me, it was almost everything a summer blockbuster film should be. It was kind of brainless and dumb, but amazing action. I had tears in my eyes the first time Optimus Prime comes on screen out of the mist and the darkness and transforms in front of him, and the camera zooming around him as he's transforming. That's beautiful! I don't care what you think. That is beauty right there. Tears in my eyes the first time that happened.
You might want to get that checked.
Was not a fan of Transformers 2, however, and was not a fan of Transformers 3. So I'm feeling kind of torn. I want to be excited. I'm going to hang on there, give it the benefit. Hey, look, adding a guy like Mark Wahlberg ain't bad either. I think he's a good fit for a project like this. And obviously he must see something in it that he liked to get involved with it. So overall, I'm torn. That's where I'm feeling. What about you, Jimmy?
I'm like you. I didn't cry over the original Transformers.
Tears.
No tears. Not at all. Not a single one. I had fun. I enjoyed it. I really liked the first one. Hated part 2. Hated part 3. Yeah, I'm not totally excited. I like the idea that they're bringing Mark Wahlberg. It seems like they're kind of wanting their cake and eating it too by creating this as not only a sequel but a reboot sequel. Yeah, that's what I'm getting the feeling, like, and it just, I'm going to wait until I can see more and hear more and get a trailer, at least a teaser, something. I'm not feeling it.
Well, folks, we've come to that part of the show for buy or sell. Here's how this works. Jenna's got a bunch of other items in the world of movie news right now, and she's going to read them off. And as she does, Jimmy and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Jenna, what do we got?
Okay, as we reported last week, production is gearing up for Vacation, a sequel semi-reboot of National Lampoon's Vacation. The Office's Ed Helms will star in the film as Rusty Griswold, Chevy Chase's son in the original films, and it appears that they have now cast Rusty's wife. Reports have surfaced that Christina Applegate is in talks to take on the role of Helms' wife. Jimmy, buy or sell Applegate joining Vacation?
Buy it. She reminds me of a perfect replacement for Beverly D'Angelo. Buy it.
Yeah, I gotta buy this too. I mean, she was a great love comedic interest in Anchorman. I think she's really solid. I even like that TV show of hers called Up All Night. I watch that every once in a while. She's a great comedic talent. So yeah, I'm all for it. I buy it.
Okay, in a world where movie release dates are usually moved back, it's just been announced that the next Edgar Wright film with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, The World's End, is actually having its release date moved up. The film was originally supposed to open in October, but will now hit AMC theaters everywhere on August 23rd. The World's End is the third film in the Blood and Ice Cream trilogy from Wright, co-writer star Simon Pegg and star Nick Frost, that began with Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. The story for The World's End centers on 5 childhood friends, played by Pegg, Frost, Eddie Marsan, Paddy Considine, and Martin Freeman, going through an epic pub crawl in order to reach the fabled pub, The World's End. But as they make their way to the pub, they discover that the fate of humankind is on the line. John, buy or sell the early release date for The World's End?
I gotta sell it. Now, I love Edgar Wright. I love everything him, Nick Frost, and Simon Pegg have done. I wasn't a big fan of Paul, but that had nothing to do with Edgar Wright. I love their films, but I don't think this is a good move, moving it even deeper, like closer to summer. Now, granted, the end of August is kind of the end of the summer movie season, granted. I just don't think their films play right for a summer audience, and I don't think they're doing the film justice or giving it all the chance it deserves to do well at the box office by moving it closer to summer. I think they should have left it in October. Personally, I'm excited for the film, but I sell the idea that they're moving it earlier. Jimmy?
Buy it. I have faith in Edgar Wright. He hasn't made a bad movie, in my opinion.
Agreed.
I actually think August is a perfect time for it because there's a lot of little surprises that come out of the summer months, and people are like, "Oh yeah, it's this cool comedy." I think it has a shot.
All right.
Yeah.
Keifer Sutherland is in final negotiations to star as the antagonist, besides the volcano, in director Paul W.S. Anderson's disaster movie Pompeii. The film takes place in 70 AD and stars Kit Harington as Milo, the slave of a shipping tycoon who dreams of the day he can be free and marry his master's daughter. He soon finds out that she's been promised to a corrupt Roman senator, and he's been sold to an owner in Naples. As Mount Vesuvius erupts, Milo heads back to Pompeii in order to rescue his love and his best friend, a gladiator trapped in the Colosseum. Sutherland will play the Roman senator in the film. Jimmy, buy or sell Pompeii?
Sell it. I can't. It just sounds cheesy already, and when I see a trailer, maybe it'll look a little better. But no, I'm not. It's not appealing to me so far.
I gotta buy this. Actually, I'm gonna buy it big.
Really?
I love disaster films, and I love like Roman period piece films. Yeah, I love Keifer Sutherland. You mash all that together on board. I really like Kit Harington as well. So yeah, I think this is a pretty cool sounding project for me personally. So I'm on board. Well, listen, folks, one of the films opening up in AMC theaters everywhere this week is the brand new comedy with Tina Fey and Paul Rudd, Admission. Once again, that's opening in AMC theaters everywhere this weekend. Now, recently, we were invited to New York to talk to some of the cast of the film, and our very own Jessica Jones had a chance to sit down and speak with Tina Fey. We'd like to share some of that interview with you right now.
So, Tina, so many films try to kind of straddle that fine line between comedy and drama, but I thought this film really succeeded brilliantly in that. Was that something that kind of sparked your interest in the project?
It did. The fact that the movie has a real kind of warm story at the core of it and a compelling story really appealed to me because jokes are a dime a dozen. I've been living in a world of 1,000 jokes per minute on 30 Rock. And so it felt nice to maybe be part of telling a real interesting story. And so, yeah, that's the one thing we're trying to convey to people is like, you're going to see that it's me and Paul Rudd and Lily, but be ready for kind of a, I still haven't come up with a good one-word description of the movie. Tone.
Tone.
Get ready for a more toned tone.
Tone and comedy. I like it. That's a good way to describe it. Your character, Portia, is kind of imprisoned in this regimented life that she has at Princeton. And the film then follows her as her little bubble kind of bursts and she is forced to reevaluate her life really as a whole. What do you think it is about Portia's story that's kind of so universal that so many people can relate to?
Well, she's a person who's kind of thrown herself into work to hide from the fact that maybe her life isn't perfect, and she's in a relationship that's kind of only okay, but she's just trudging along, which I think, hopefully not too many people can identify with because it's a bummer.
Petting her like a dog.
Her live-in boyfriend pets her on the head like a dog. When that relationship kind of blows up, that's just sort of the beginning of the wheels coming off everything. And she's been, sitting on a secret for a long time that comes back to kind of wake her up actually, and change her outlook on things.
Definitely, and her relationship with her mother also.
Her relationship with her mother is very strained and needs a lot of work.
Yes.
Her, Lily Tomlin plays my mother in the movie, and she's this kind of crazed feminist icon from the 70s, and which she is, except she's not crazed in real life. Yeah, they don't know how to relate to each other. They've just been trying to stay away from each other their whole lives, and they kind of finally push through that a little bit.
Definitely. So lastly, after making this film, in real life, do you think you could ever be an admissions officer? Or do you think you could handle that job?
I feel like I could handle the pressure, and I feel like I could handle the anger that people throw. But I don't feel like I could read fast enough. You have to read so many essays, and you have to stay awake. You have to. You owe it to the people.
As you said in the film, you cannot stop halfway through.
You cannot stop a folder. That's a real admissions people thing, I think. You just, once you open a folder, you stick with it to the end. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Tina, thank you so much.
Congratulations
on the film.
Thank you.
All right, folks, it's that time of the show for the mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you would like us to address on air, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Once again, that's amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Send your questions to us, and we'll pick out a few every day to address them on the show. Right now, Jenna's got a few picked out of the mailbag. So, Jenna, what do we got?
Dan Brown writes, "Hey, John and gang, I'm still loving the show. I mean, why wouldn't I?
Why not?
Keep up the good work. Anyway, after watching the new Star Trek trailer released and wetting myself in the process, my thoughts on whether or not Mr. Cumberbatch will in fact be the villain we all want him to be have been stirred yet again. During the big meeting scene, RoboCop says to everyone, 'The man who did it, he's one of our top agents.' Or did he? I'm a little suspicious that they simply cut and edited the audio to make it sound like that was what was said to make everyone think, oh, well, it must not be Khan then, and throw us off. This being said, what are your thoughts? Is he Khan or isn't he?"
Look, I was one of the very first people out of the gate, and I still admit that I'm probably wrong. I'm probably dead wrong on this. I've said all along he is either a Khan or a character who is directly connected to Khan. That's what I believe. And I thought the exact same thing that you did, Dan. I thought when the way they edited that line, he's one of our top agents. Like the way that was clearly not the way the line is said in the movie. So I got a feeling that when RoboCop says that line, he's not referring to Benedict Cumberbatch. I just got a feeling. Once again, I'm probably wrong. I still believe it's Khan personally. Or directly connected to Khan, the guy who's going to wake Khan up or something. I'm probably dead wrong. I'm admitting that right now. But that's what I think. Jimmy, how did you see it?
Yeah, it seems like they're being really secretive and I guess it's going to be, if it is Khan, everyone will be, I told you so. So maybe they're just screwing with the audience a little bit.
Yeah.
Can I say screwing?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Bradley Alonso writes, "Hi, watching your show made me remember back in 2003 when Freddy vs. Jason came out. To me, this was one of the coolest movies that year. After it had come out, there were rumors on a sequel with a third character joining the fight, rumored Michael Myers. But it's been 10 years and never heard of it. In 2009, they had the Jason reboot, and the following year, 2010, they had the Freddy reboot. Also in 2007, they had the Halloween reboot, which I thought they had rebooted all three to make the Freddy vs. Jason sequel. My question is, do you guys know if the project died or if they are just behind?"
The project's dead. It is dead or didn't dead. And as a matter of fact, okay, the Freddy vs. Jason vs. Mike Myers thing, yeah, that was out there. But that's not the one they really wanted to make. The one they really wanted to make, in reference to Jimmy O's shirt, is it was supposed to originally be Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash.
Groovy, baby. Groovy. Come on. Yeah.
That was amazing. I wasn't a big fan of Freddy vs. Jason, to be honest with you.
Oh, how dare you.
But I remember when the concept came out that they were going to do, and they even put out a graphic novel of it.
Yeah.
Of Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. Suddenly, I was like jumping up and down on my chair. I was so excited. I wanted that film. I know they tried to get it done. I know a draft of the script was made. But then it just kind of withered. It didn't go anywhere. The film didn't do well enough for whatever reason. Now they've moved on. They've moved past Robert Englund, and they've rebooted these things. There's no way we're going to see this movie ever made, which is too bad. But go out and look for that graphic novel, Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. Jimmy?
Yeah, I know. As much as I'd like it to be, I'm a huge sucker for all those. For Michael Myers. Jason's my personal favorite. Just he's kind of a meat and potatoes kind of killer. But it's just not going to happen. Not going to happen at all.
RB Harris writes, "Hey guys, love the show. I watch it every night, sometimes twice. With the release of G.I. Joe 2 just under a week away, I'm now more curious as to why it was delayed. Do you guys think it was to include more Channing Tatum or improve the story? I don't buy the 3D conversion story. It doesn't take 9 months to do a post-conversion."
Well, RB Harris, it really can take that long. I know that that film Priest, which was out a while ago, which is one I personally don't like 3D personally. Okay. But it was one of the best examples of post-conversion 3D ever. They took over a year to do the post-conversion on that. They really did it right. And as far as 3D movies go, it was the best I've seen that was a post-converted 3D. So it can take that long. But no, the reason the film was delayed really was not just a 3D conversion. It was to add more Channing Tatum. I mean, of that, I'm absolutely convinced. I mean, you look at the trailers when the film was just about to come out last year, very little Channing Tatum. Now, lots of Channing Tatum. I believe they did add scenes with Channing Tatum. I do believe they wanted to shoot new scenes and rework things a little bit to make it a bit of a better film. But don't discount the 3D conversion thing because it can take an awful long time. Jimmy?
Absolutely. If you want to do it right, if you really want, after G.I. Joe kind of had that backlash from not only fans but critics and everyone, they're going to want to make the best film they can, as much as they can. I think I think it's simply the post conversion for the most part.
All right.
Yeah.
Jordan Anderson writes, "I love your show so much. Can't start my day without my daily dose of John Campea."
Wow.
Or Schnepp. One of my favorite comedies of all time is the 2004 hugely successful independent movie Napoleon Dynamite. My cousin was actually in the movie as an extra, that's cool, and grew up best friends with director Jared Hess's little brother. Anywho, I wanted to get your opinion on what you thought of there ever being a sequel to Napoleon Dynamite. I had high hopes for the TV show, which was sadly canceled. I would love to see Napoleon Goes to College or something similar. Do you think it will ever happen?
No.
Yeah, it's going to be Jason versus Freddy versus Napoleon Dynamite. That's what's going to happen.
I think that film has a better chance. Look,
Right?
let's be real here. Napoleon Dynamite is one of those films that has a huge amount of fans. People really liked it, but nobody continued to follow it. Like you mentioned, they tried to put out a TV show about it. Nobody watched it.
Nobody watched it.
Nobody watched it. They even
Like
got the original film's cast to do the voices.
Yeah.
And still nobody watched it.
That was one of those rare one-shot deals that everyone kind of dug, and then people...
It was lightning in a bottle.
Lightning in a bottle,
And here's the other thing. The star of the film, the guy who played Napoleon Dynamite, John Heder, he was terrible in everything else he did.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about The Benchwarmers. Blades of Glory was a pretty funny film, but he was terrible in it. You're talking about Mama's Boy or whatever else. He just could not get any traction after Napoleon Dynamite. And since the star of the franchise couldn't get any traction, the name of the franchise in an animated show couldn't get any traction. Yeah. It's an absolute zero possibility that we'll ever see a Napoleon Dynamite 2. And that's fine. We'll always have that little treasure of a film to enjoy, but I just don't think we're going to ever see anything else come out of it. Well, listen, folks, we've run out of time. Thanks so much for joining us today. But listen, while I've got you, stop what you're doing, take a second, and click the subscribe button. The very best way to support us on the show is to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's absolutely free, and it'll keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news and, of course, our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AMC Theaters. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/AMC Theaters. And go on out and see a movie tonight. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. And listen, if you want to listen to an audio-only version of this show, look into the description of this video for our links to our iTunes and our Stitcher Radio. And once again, click that subscribe button. Share this video around. Spread the joy. Let everybody know about AMC Movie Talk. I want to thank, as always, our very lovely host, Miss Jenna Phillips.
Thanks, guys.
I want to thank also the equally lovely Mr. Jimmy O.
Thank you.
Yay, Jimmy.
Thank you. Now, I'd like to hear a yeehaw from you, John. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, you should sign out with that.
Definitely. Absolutely.
What did Benedict Cumberbatch say in the trailer? I will walk over your cold dead... Something like that.
I will walk over your cold dead corpse.
And thank you, guys. Listen, the most important part of the show is not what we have to say, it's what you have to say. Make sure you jump down to the comments section and leave your thoughts on any or all the topics we discussed today. Until next time, my name is John Campea for AMC Movie News. Bye-bye.